versus Mercury game. Could have been almost literally a playoff game, and it may be a one building up in the future. You're talking about the fourth seed versus the fifth seed. Even though the Aces won yesterday and they are one game up on the win, they still one game behind. They still one game behind. So realistically, the Mercury still stay the fourth seed, and the Aces are still the fifth. I believe the Mercury are 19 and 14, and the Aces are 20 and 15. So like I said, may not change the playoff standing yet, and even if it do in the playoffs was to start today, these two teams will play each other. But it do to me, that game kind of solidified moving up the MVP ladder. And of course, like I'm saying, I still keep Fee where Fee is at, but I do think this pressure that Asia Wilson is putting, because you told me she had a 30-20 game against Connecticut, and for all the haters saying, oh, she did that against the worst team. Well, this is a team that's a seeded ahead of them. The Phoenix Mercury are the fourth seed. The Aces is the fifth. Asia Wilson, 30 points, 16 rebounds, and 2 blocks. So like I said, just that MVP conversation for AT is kind of like, I know a lot of people want to put AT in there, keep her in there because of the triple doubles and all of that. Cool, but even in the tightest moments of that game, when it got close, came down to the wire, AT had a drive and she got to the basket. Like literally, you hear the broadcaster like, oh, I thought she was gonna take it up, and she didn't, and she kicked it out. And I think that right there to me is the only reason why I honestly kind of really didn't never want to put AT in that conversation, because I feel like the MVP is still supposed to take over the game. Not just about filling up the stat sheets, but you're talking about this is like a playoff game. The playoffs on the line, your seeding is on the line, and you sit here and drive to the basket and kick it out. Because it's like, if you're really watching the game, it's like they kind of even really get to sag off. Unless she still makes stuff. She had with AT had 15 points and 9 assists, but it's just that room of people sagging off on you and kind of kind of almost forcing you to pass. I don't necessarily know how I feel about that. Really talking about being an MVP of the league, that's to me is a little bit questionable. But like I said, the Aces is still continuously making that push after and this is another reason, only reason why I'm saying like it's hard for me to push Asia too far up the ladder, because I still think the 1 and the 2nd seed should honestly have the conversation for the MVP. So that would be, of course, Nafisa Collier and then Alicia Gray. So those two to me right now is like that should be the number 1 and number 2 conversation. But again, like I said, Asia is putting a lot of pressure. The Aces are on a 6-game winning streak, but that comes after the last time those two met up was a 53-point. Like, come on, though. Club, you kind of cannot sit here and, I don't care how crazy the numbers get, you can't start the MVP conversation with somebody who sent you to Club 53. Like, let's be serious. But again, like I said, the Aces on a 6-game winning streak. And for that little 4th and 5th matchup, or for that 3rd place conversation in the MVP thing, I do believe Asia Wilson jumps over Alyssa Thomas.